In this video, we'll be taking a look at some instances where people went insane in front of judges in a courtroom. Number 4. A hearing is being held for a domestic violence order that a husband sought against his ex-wife. This defendant rudely interrupted the defendant's ex-husband in the middle of his statement to the judge, saying that the defendant's private life had nothing to do with this case. The ex-husband had just finished giving his statement and stating why he wanted the restraining order. A swearing gesture by the defendant is audible in front of the judge.
Yes, Your Honor. Things have been escalating, I guess, since the first of the year. And Melissa's had a couple MIWs and a couple arrests. And she got out of jail in, I guess, April.
The judge then reminded the defendant that she would be found in contempt of court if she continued to disturb the proceedings. The defendant became enraged by this and began shouting at the judge, claiming that she had done nothing wrong and wasn't deserving of being found in contempt.
It has nothing to do with
Miss Hardwick,
no.
you will be held in contempt of this court if you become disruptive.
I don't care. I haven't done anything to this court.
The judge determined that the defendant will be detained in jail for 10 days for contempt of court, since she showed no desire to act properly. This served as the icing on the cake and prompted the defendant to leap at the judge and assault her.
She will be arrested for contempt of
It doesn't
court.
make any difference.
You will serve 10 days for contempt of court. Go now.
Number 3. In Springfield, Ohio, the owner of John's drive-thru is closing up shop for the night. A man enters from behind. On the security camera stream, the owner recognizes him. Before the alleged robber can grab a weapon, the shop owner spots the suspicious-looking individual and shoots him multiple times.
Get the hell!
In the next video, Ricky and an officer seem to be sitting in an interrogation room. When the shop owner noticed him, Ricky was about to bring out his pistol when the police asked him what he had done with it. In response, Ricky said that although he had not fully drawn his gun, he had intended to rob the shop owner.
I did try to rob John's drive-thru. Got shot 3 times. I did the crime, I ain't gonna lie. I just wanted to.
Ricky responds that he didn't fully bring out the revolver when the officer confronts him, adding that he would have eventually done so. The officer went on to state that because the shop owner knew about Ricky's earlier robberies, he pulled his revolver before Ricky could pull out his own. Later, Ricky admitted to several robberies after first denying having committed any before this occurrence. The officer gets him to confess to a robbery of a beauty salon, as well as the robbery that was documented on the CCTV.
He's well aware that you've been robbing places at gunpoint or so.
I've never robbed anybody. That's the first one I've ever done.
Now hang on a second. Now you and I have been straight with each other every time we met each other. Okay.
The courtroom footage from Ricky's 40-year prison sentence is shown after this one. Ricky flips out and pulls a hidden thing out from under his sleeve, demonstrating the prison sentence was simply too much for him to handle. It's difficult to make out what happened in all the noise, but upon closer inspection, it is clear that Ricky attempted to throw the judge with a little bottle filled with his feces and urine. This stunt landed Ricky in even more trouble. Number 2. This is the matter of Caucasia Adam Satterley. Satterley is in court for a hearing regarding his bond for drug-related charges. He's being heard off camera before Circuit Judge Olu Stevens, a black man.
Your objections notice overruled. Motion's granted.
The judge declares that the request has been granted and that his objection has been overruled. Hearing this, Satterley's attorney warns his client to stay calm after hearing the bad news. Judge Stevens has revoked Satterley's bond, meaning that Satterley will be returned to custody. When Satterley hears this, he begins to curse and use racist epithets at the judge. The judge did not appear at all fazed by this. He then seems to be still on good terms with Satterley. He asks a woman to approach the sheriff and requests that he bring Mr. Satterley back. The judge then directly speaks to the sheriff and apologetically asks him to bring the defendant back out.
Before you go, bring the sheriff back. Can you indulge me 1 second?
Yes, sir, of course.
Can you knock on the door and tell the sheriff to bring Mr. Who's that guy? Satterley? Bring him back. You just tell the sheriff to bring him back.
Judge Olu asks Satterley if he has anything he wants to say to him after he returns to the judge's bench. Satterley denies making the comments of the judge and claims that he was speaking to his brother instead. The judge asked him again whether that was actually his brother, because he heard him say a racial epithet. Satterley vehemently denies saying that, but it's too late. The damage was already done. The judge said that he would hold Satterley in contempt for having said the racial slurs, and he cannot speak those words in front of a judge while in court. He said that he will give him 60 days in jail for having used that vile slur. He ordered Satterley to never use that word again in his courtroom.
To your brother, because I heard you say a racial epithet.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
Oh, you didn't mean it like
No.
that? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to hold you in contempt of court for having said that. And you don't speak those words in here.
Yes,
and
sir.
that word particularly,
Yes,
you
sir.
don't use that word. I'm going to give you 60 days for having used that word. Hold you in contempt right now for having done it in this courtroom. It's disrespectful.
Judge Stevens gave Satterley the option of reducing the additional sentence to only a day if he apologized for uttering a racial epithet. Satterley accepted the judge's invitation. In the video, Satterley is shown apologizing to the judge, and the judge accepts said apology. Number 1. In the Broward County Courthouse in Fort Lauderdale, California, a man is being charged with 2 counts of violating an injunction. Before Judge John Hurley, Christopher Colon makes a video appearance for his bond hearing. The judge finds there is probable cause. In connection with the domestic violence case involving his ex-girlfriend, Colon was detained and prosecuted on 2 charges of violating a restraining order. Additionally, he's facing charges of aggravated violence against his current girlfriend, who is pregnant, in an ongoing case. Colon was released after posting a bond in the aggravated violence case less than a month ago. Therefore, the judge isn't pleased to see him again. He has already been released on bond, which surprises the judge.
On bond. You're already out.
Yes, sir, and my bondsman is willing to take me out again on a bond.
That's very kind of him, but that won't be necessary today because you're not going anywhere.
I'll see you guys in with a lawyer and a lawsuit too.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, bring him back, please.
The judge is sarcastic to the defendant, which angers him, so he threatens the court with legal action and a lawyer. The judge is then confronted by Colon, who becomes even more hostile and starts cursing at him. The sheriff is requested by the judge to bring the defendant back once more. When Colon returns, the judge tries to speak with him, but Colon doesn't appear interested, and instead chooses to curse at the judge, which prompts a courtroom staff member to switch off the judge's microphone.
Yeah, don't mute that. Could you turn that mic back on for me? Turn the mic back on.
You guys can okay? I'm being dead ass real.
Colon continues to slam the judge after the judge orders the staffer to turn on the mic again. Colon is yelling expletives as the court sets his bond at a staggering $200,000 in total, which the customer consents to pay.
Okay? I'm being dead ass real.
$125,000. Your bond on count 2 will be $125,000. Your total
How much is my bond?
$250,000. That's
okay, no
because
problem. I can bond out, man.
Court will also order, sir, on case 14-7168 CF10, you'll be held without bond. That bond is revoked.
After that, he said, in case 147168 CF10, the judge continues to revoke his bond. With the amount seemingly no issue, the judge has just taken away the bond from the aggravated battery case, meaning Colon will not be able to go free this time, and this sets him off. The judge holds the defendant in contempt of court because he keeps cursing at him. The defendant claims that he does not care and keeps cursing at the judge, adding that he has lawyers who will handle this matter. This only serves to infuriate the defendant. The defendant goes on to explain that he cannot force the judge to salute because the judge is not Hitler. However, after giving him a chance to speak in his defense, the defendant just laughed and joked. The court went on to rule that the defendant will serve 364 days in Broward County Jail. Colon is back in front of the judge a week later. Colon apologizes to the judge for disrespecting him and using profanity toward him. After the judge accepts his apology, the severe battery case remains without a bond, and the defendant must spend nearly 14 months before being allowed to leave prison.
I apologize for what I did. I was wrong, and not only I was wrong for cursing you out, of the deputies hearing me curse you out, I apologize to them too.